Let's take the data from this simple chart and put it into the framework of the graph that we were discussing before. Well, first of all, we need to have titles on the horizontal and vertical axes. The horizontal axis might have a title of maybe items. So we would have board games and blocks and books and puzzles. Those would be the items that were listed. And on the vertical axis, maybe we would have number of items. Or maybe we could say that's an amount. We would make that shorter. We'll take the amount. So what we're really doing now is we've labeled our graph to correspond to what we are talking about with the data and how those two items correlate. The relationship between the amount of the red dots and what that means in relationship to the items itself, the board games, blocks, books, and puzzles. We would need on this side numbers because these are amounts. We said that each of the circles equaled 10. So our red circles here would equal 10 items apiece. So we would probably need to go in groups of 10 here. It always starts out with 0 where the two lines meet. The vertical and horizontal is always the 0 point. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So we're going to mark them 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. We might, I have a little bit room. I'm going to go to 70. All right, so coming back here now, the board games were 10, 20, 30, 40. So I could make a line here at 40 and draw a line back down here to the board games. So this would be one of my lines. The blocks, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and I have a half a block here, so that means only half of 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65. So now I'm going to have to go in the blocks over to where I see 60 and 70. I'm going to go like between it and make my line there for the blocks. Because the correlation between the blocks was only 65. So this one's going to be 40. That one's a 65. The books, 10, 20, 30, 40. That was the same as the board games. And the puzzles, 10, 20, 30. Oh, no, here's another half circle. So 10, 20, 30, 35. So let's go here for the puzzle. And of course, the graph needs a title to the whole thing. And the title of the graph is going to tell the relationship between the y-axis and the x-axis. Here we have the y-axis, and this one is the x-axis. So what's the relationship between the amount and the actual item? Maybe we could say, how about items in a playroom. So now we know that the items in the playroom, we know the amount of them and the item itself. So the correlation would be between the actual items and where you'd find them. These are the most important parts of the graph though. We've got a label on the y-axis, a label on the x-axis, and the title of the graph that shows the correlation between these two, the x and the y-axis.